Onto this now, the story of the alleged rape of a 2-year-old girl at the Geroge Mukhari Hospital in Tshwane has again highlighted the vulnerability of children in our society. After she displayed COVID-19 symptoms, her family was left with little choice but to leave her in the care of healthcare workers. The toddler's parents say that she was sexually assaulted while in isolation. My colleague Silindelo Masikane is following developments on that story, and she joins us from our newsroom. So just bring us up to speed with the latest on the story, Slee.
Well, what we do know, Dudu, is that police investigations are underway into the rape of a 2-year-old girl allegedly at the Geroge Mukhari Academic Hospital. What we do understand is that this incident took place around the middle of June. This is when the family, or should I say the mother of the child, had noticed that her child was displaying COVID-19 symptoms, and she then proceeded and went to Geroge Mukhari Hospital. She left her baby there in the care of that particular hospital, and the baby was placed in an isolation ward. From what we understand from the CEO, that particular ward, from what we've been told by the CEO, usually has a security guard at night, but then during the day there isn't any security guard at that particular ward. So what we know is that when the father came to pick up the child, once the results of the baby came back saying that the child was not positive, he noticed that something was just not right in her mannerisms and the way she usually reacts when she sees her father. He then, of course, proceeded to get her medication, and they left and they went home with their mother, with the mother of the child. And over the next couple of days, the mother then noticed that her child had some fluid coming out of her private parts. And this was going on for a couple of days. In fact, she noticed that the diaper that was put on her baby from Geroge Mukhari, when she was changing that diaper had a white fluid coming from it. And then over the next few days, that fluid continued to come out until at some point she decided to do a thorough examination of her baby, and she noticed that it looked as though she had been penetrated. They then went to a nearby healthcare facility to have her checked out, and then it was confirmed that the baby had been penetrated. And so from there they were taken from pillar to post by the police. In fact, trying to just lay a case with the police, it took days. Finally, they managed to lay a case of a rape of a minor at the Ga-Rankuwa police station on the 25th of June. And subsequent to that, we understand that the CEO of the hospital also says that he learned of the incident through the media. I did have a chance to speak to the family earlier today. I will tell you what they said to me, but let's just start off with the bite from the CEO on what he said to me regarding the incident. Dudu.
I think the biggest challenge is alertness, which I have brought up onto the staff. The communication, laxity. And with alertness of all those, I think all will be fine, because that ward, it particularly has a security on site at night. And so the night shift has a security. It's during the day that there is no security in there. But the problem is, once I say this, you may need to go into the details which have to do with the case, and it's best if we don't go into that.
Many would say that the buck really stops with you in terms of what happens at Geroge Mukhari Hospital. What level of responsibility are you taking in this incident?
Being the CEO here, I take responsibility until such time that we identify who the perpetrators actually are, which means I personally take responsibility for that.
Very disturbing developments here. What do we know about how the baby is?
Well, I went to Soshanguve today to speak to the family. I received the aunt, the elder sister of the mother, as well as the father of the baby, And, you know, just days ago, the aunt was telling me that the child was still struggling to walk. But, you know, when I came to see them today, it definitely looked as though the baby girl was doing much, much better. She's definitely in much better spirits. We understand that the Social Development Department has offered counseling. However, the family is traumatized, Dudu. You could see it in their faces that, you know, a lot of the blame, I think, they're taking it on themselves. In particular, when I spoke to the father and I asked him how he was feeling, he said that he wishes he had money, that he could have afforded to be able to take his child to a private hospital, and maybe this could have been prevented. But the feeling from the family is that their daughter has been destroyed and that she's been traumatized for the rest of their life. They don't know whether she'll be able to forget this, and if it does reoccur later in her life, what they're going to say to her or how they're going to explain what happened to her. They're taking on a lot of the blame, saying that, you know, it's difficult for them because their child is different now. You know, she used to be a very bubbly child, and she's just become very reserved. She doesn't want to be around people. She's scared to be around people. And in fact, when they need to go to a healthcare facility, whenever a nurse or a doctor comes near the baby, she's screaming, she's crying. You can tell that she just does not want to be there. And in fact, she doesn't want anybody to touch her when they do come near her. So it's going to be a struggle, I think, for this particular family to get over what's happened. And I don't think they will. But what they want is certainly justice and some answers. They want to know who did this, and they want the hospital to provide answers as well as to ensure that this never happens again.
So no leads in terms of suspects?
No, do not as yet. I've had a chance to speak to the police, and the spokesperson, Brigadier Peters, has said to me that investigations are ongoing. No arrests have been made so far, and she would not go into the details of the matter, saying that only that investigations were in the early stages.
Thank you very much, Silindelo Masikane.